All right, and we are live. Oh, shit, that's hot. Hello and welcome, everyone. Maybe I shouldn't even drink it. Hi, to another episode of Market Trading. I'm your host, Tone Vays. Clearly, a lot less shows on this channel because we do the Financial Summit streams every morning, and there will be other shows on that channel that I will be a part of. We could not do a show this morning because Matt was out in the countryside of Australia. And if you guys have been to Australia, you know how shitty their internet is in the inner city. So when you're out, in Crocodile Dundee land, not as good. Okay, so let's go straight to the charts and take it from there. Man, so much is going on right now. Also, like this morning when I woke up at like 6 a.m., 6:30, and like I was texting with Matt and our other team members, and we're like, yeah, price isn't moving. What's the point of doing a stream? It's not really interesting, so we didn't do it. But since then, the price has been moving. So let's go and take a look. This is the daily chart. I usually start off on higher level time frames, but since I happen to have the daily chart up, this is really, really good. We are about to close on a brand new daily swing high since the ETFs began. That is certainly something. Remember, the ETFs launched on the 11th or the 12th of January. That's when the ETFs launched. So this is going to be the new swing daily close high. Still needs to go a little bit higher to get the intraday swing, but that's okay. And next candle is going to be a green star candle. This is absolutely awesome. There is one problem, however, and the problem is the $44,000 resistance. I think that it's more likely that once Bitcoin starts crossing 44,000, too many people that got caught on the wrong side of the Bitcoin trade, thinking that the moment ETFs launched, the price of Bitcoin is going to go to 800 gazillion dollars. I think a lot of these people got caught on the wrong side of the trade. And like most newbie traders, once those newbie traders get back to their break even or a slight profit, they breathe a sigh of relief and exit their positions. That's why it's very rare. This is why you get these head and shoulder patterns, right? Now, I still think we're going to break out, but I think that breaking the $44,000 resistance will be a little bit harder than people think it will be. Master Kings, thank you so much for your generous comment. Hey guys, I do have some moderators in here, and I'm in the moderator Telegram chat. So feel free to throw questions in, and the moderators will let me know. All right, let's look at the weekly chart. Now, the weekly chart is not going to get its green star candle until next week. So this also fits my view that the $44,000 area is going to be tougher to break than people think. Okay, we already hit it last week and got a little bit rejected. Now, I can't wait to see a brand new weekly high close. Technically, we don't need, a weekly high close. I just need a close higher than the week of December 4th. Okay, I mean, I know they're just like $3 apart, but for me, I can even move this line down a smidge. Oh, my arrows aren't moving it down. I can even move this down a smidge, right? So the close on the week of December 4th was 43,800, and the close here was 43,942 versus 794. Yeah, so look, any close above 43,800 makes me incredibly bearish. That's what I'm kind of looking for. I'm looking for a weekly close above 400 or in the vicinity of 400, because the probability that we hit 44,000 on Sunday night is very, very low. And you know what? If we hit 44,000 on Sunday night, I'll probably be bullish into next week. So there's two things I'm looking for. I'm looking for daily closes above this and a weekly close above it, okay? And then next week on a green star candle, man, am I going to be bullish if we don't get rejected, right? Not only do I need a green star candle, I also need it to be above 44,000. But in order to get the green star candle, we would have to be above 44,000. And if it's happening in the second half of next week, I'm going to be even more bullish still, okay? So to me, this consolidation is very, very positive. We're 100% allocated. I'm 100% allocated. I have deployed every single penny of what I withdrew at this 75% barrier. I added my entire year's contribution into my Roth IRA. So there's an additional $6,500. Sorry, an additional $7,000. Not 6.5 was last year. I was just doing my taxes. 6.5 was last year's contribution. And this year's contribution, I believe, is 7,000. I already threw it in there. So I am super bullish. I am 100% invested. I am mostly holding FBTC, the Fidelity Bitcoin ETF. I do not have any more Grayscale. I am done. I still have some iShares. I don't know if I'm going to go 100% Fidelity versus, say, 75% Fidelity, 25% iShares. It's a little bit of diversification. Like Fidelity, like the positive is Fidelity is, been a good actor for Bitcoin, unlike companies like Coinbase and Grayscale and many others. And they do hold self-custody, which is great. It's a positive, but it's also a bit of a negative. What if Fidelity gets hacked, right? I can see problems with that ETF versus, of course, Coinbase could also get hacked, and then all the other ETFs have a problem. So that's why I am thinking of holding on to some iShares with the ticker IBTC, IBIT, and Fidelity shares of FBTC. That's my plan. You guys do your plan. Is Fibbo Swanee in here? Hey, Fibbo. I believe Matt is going to interview you on Friday on the Financial Summit YouTube channel. I can't wait to watch that. Bitcoin Shooter, you're here as well. Hey, guys. Speaking of Bitcoin Shooter, I'm going to go over to X. I'm going to keep it good. I'm not doxing anything. I'm going to go over to X. And these are my notifications. Let's see what's going to show up. Man, Bitcoin Shooter joining the live chat just reminded me. Am I tagged? I am not tagged, but that's okay. I will just tag myself. So check this out, guys. This is cool. Bitcoin Shooter, he's a filmmaker in the world of Bitcoin. He's a professional filmmaker. He was at the Financial Summit in Dubai, did some videos. We're going to release those soon. He released a couple of trailers for the upcoming documentary he is filming, trying to get it onto Netflix. It is really, really cool. I'm going to even turn the audio on.
We walk in with Bitcoin mining, more people can be connected to electricity right away.
I would have used 2 or 3 hours to chop enough food for my cat, but with this, 10 minutes.
Bitcoin is a Ponzi scheme without any benefit to society.
90% of the people didn't have a bank account.
They are paying bills with Bitcoin, so they don't have to travel.
That was like El Salvador.
Anyone in El Salvador really watches the work and see, hey,
yeah,
this is really useful.
Thought it looked
10 years
familiar.
from now, you won't recognize El Salvador.
Yeah, I'm going to El Salvador, guys.
But the money was blocked. We got 17 Bitcoin to the truckers, and that still remains the only thing they got to the truckers.
Unconfiscatable.
Literally impossible to stop it. Bitcoin represents
Hey, Hodl Tarantula.
money that no one else.
Hey, there I am.
Now I'm
Boom.
living on Bitcoin and I don't feel inflation. Nothing else has to change for the average person to feel a.
Hey, there's Red. I know him also.
Price is not going up.
Man, this movie's gonna be
There's no
great.
inflection, there's no struggle. People can live with dignity. And they can really be themselves.
It's a movie about inflation, how Bitcoin can help. So I'm retweeting this, guys. Go ahead, shoot a like, shoot a retweet. He posted another trailer yesterday. Totally forgot to retweet it. I just retweeted this one, but you can see the other trailer as well. It's right here. Okay, so check that out. It was released yesterday. Really, really cool. So go ahead and check that out. I think he's still looking for a couple of people to help finance the film. You'll get credit and everything. All right, Shooter, thanks for joining and supporting the work. You've been unconfiscatable as well, doing a lot of content. It was awesome. All right, check that out, guys. Also, Financial Summit, speaking of, we're going to do Twitter Spaces at 3 p.m. Eastern, so 2 hours from now. 2 hours from now, we're going to do Twitter Spaces. Let me tweet that out as well. Almost at 6,000 followers, guys. We are going to go live with Twitter Spaces. Hopefully, Joe Colasari will join us again. This is going to be really, really cool, retweeting that as well. All right, let's get back to the charts. Yeah, here's the Financial Summit. Can't wait to send you more info on the next one. Okay, so charts, we did that, we did that, we did the daily chart, which I really like. This is looking really strong. I really like the horizontal 50-period moving average. I'm liking the 128-day moving average. I have the 200-day moving average, which I don't really need. So that is why we're going to move this to be a 20-period moving average, because that is a little more useful. And we're going to keep an eye on that until these two cross, which should be very, very soon. Short-term chart, I had this blue line probably from before, and this is really, really good. Yes, technically the breakout area is there, but if we can close right here on this 4-hour candle, that makes me very bullish. In fact, this close may alter my view on a daily scale as well. It's just a beautiful 4-hour chart. You can think of it as an ascending triangle. You can think of it as a little cup and handle. A bigger cup and handle. Man, this is great. I really wish we were doing that new trading contest this morning. I would have been so bullish with Matt. Yeah, the Financial Summit is just such a special event. It's hard to explain it. You have to be there. Shooter was there. I think he's the only one. Oh, no, there's somebody else. Planet Musk. He's in the live chat. He was there. Do I recognize anybody else? No, I think just them two from the live chat. Okay, this is natural gas. Natural gas is a basket case. I'm at a loss for words. I don't know how this is happening. I don't know. There's some kind of shenanigans going on. I mean, the only explanation I have is no one is buying natural gas and no one is buying oil because a massive recession is coming. And no one is, there's no economic activity. No one is buying this stuff. And I just find that very hard to believe because I'm not anticipating a recession. But Europe is so lucky again. Man, Europe, Germany for 2 winters in a row, they got so lucky. Let's see if they got a third life in them. Speaking of oil, oil is sitting at the lows. Again, the only presentation is, the only explanation is no one's buying oil because a recession's coming. I think that the United States federal government at the moment, under the current Biden administration, is so shady with all of the oversight and all of the 3-letter agencies in their pocket. They are doing some shady CIA shit in the energy markets. I think they are extracting some or buying oil from certain regimes like Venezuela, for example, or maybe they're already excavating like crazy down in Guyana, which is why Venezuela wants to go in and invade because they see it as their land. And and somehow they're getting extra natural gas, they're liquefying it, they're selling it to Germany. I don't know, there's some kind of shenanigans going on because I don't understand why energy is this cheap. I am a believer that we're not running out of oil. We're not running out of natural gas. I mean, it was all lies and bullshit. And I was studying this crap. And like they were teaching me that there's peak oil. There is no peak oil, guys. They were teaching me all this nonsense in geology classes, like oil is made from decaying dinosaurs, which makes no fucking sense. When you get older and you start actually doing your own research, like the garbage they taught me in geology classes. Yes, the earth is not flat. Some things they teach you in geology is legit, but some things they teach you in geology is just insanity. Oil is a lot closer to a natural liquid, the second most abundant liquid in the planet, other than after water. I mean, there's salt water, there's fresh water, and then there's oil. And natural gas, we're not going to run out of this shit. There's a giant deposit over by Gaza, which probably explains a lot of the Gaza stuff. We're not running out of energy. It's going to be there for a while, but there's enough forces here to make sure that the price of oil stays high, and Russia and the Middle East and many others. So I'm finding it hard to analyze and explain the low prices of energy these days, but we're not going to run out of oil. We have at least enough for another 1,000 years of human civilization. And it's all bullshit how it's going to run out in 1980. It's insane. Maybe not 1,000 years, but we definitely have a few hundred more years of oil without a problem. All right, let's keep sticking with oil. Let me see if the numbers are out. I think the numbers are going to come out tomorrow. I don't believe the numbers are out yet. Anyone watching the Copa versus Wright court case? I can tell you I am not watching it, and I really couldn't care less. I could not care less. 126. Do I have the data for 126? I'm just going to copy it just in case. I think I have the data for 126. Oh, man, I still need to fill out the numbers for... Yeah, I have the data for 126. We have to wait till tomorrow for the next number. Gold. I remain bullish on gold, but it moves so slow that I don't even know why I have this chart up all the time. The S&P 500 is an absolute monster. If you've been watching my YouTube channel for the last decade or so, I started on YouTube around 2015, maybe even 2014. Then you would know I have been bullish on the S&P 500 since the first thing I ever said about the S&P 500. I have been bullish. I have been calling for new all-time highs every year for the last 10 years. And I have been right almost every single year. Yes, the COVID thing caught me by surprise a bit, but other than that, and the 2022 drop was a little bit bigger than I anticipated, but we are back to new all-time highs in the S&P, in the NASDAQ, and I still believe we have not even seen the rocket ship that is the S&P 500, which is coming. Do you think they wanted to build a pipeline through Syria? Maybe through the... we can talk about that. We can't talk about that. The S&P is on a tear today, an absolute tear. That is probably what is helping Bitcoin rise. I almost wish I invested in the S&P 500 instead of Bitcoin over the last, since the ETF came out, because it has certainly outperformed Bitcoin. Man, since the breakout, this is the buying opportunity in the S&P. Since that breakout, the S&P is up 4%. No, I think Bitcoin has done better since the breakout. That would be mid-January. That will probably be around here. No, the S&P has outperformed Bitcoin. Man, Incredible rally in the S&P, and the MRI still has plenty of room to go to the upside. And this is, it's just my random. All right, what do you guys want to look at before we start talking about pipelines through Africa and Gaza? Hey guys, don't forget about tradingmri.com. This is where you get your alert service. I haven't talked about it in a long time, but it's there. Also, if you're interested in the MRI or you're interested in my trading education, you can head on over to tonevays.com. You can check out my calendar so you can see where I am traveling to over the next few months. I don't have anything posted for February and March because I will mostly be in Panama and I'll swing through the US for a bit. But starting in April, my travel schedule becomes insane. And I haven't even filled out March yet. May yet. So I will be going to El Salvador and then maybe another country before I go to Austin and then the UAE. And then I got to go to the Maldives and talk to the venue and for the next financial summit. And then I'll be in London. And I really miss Portugal. So maybe I'll swing by Portugal before going to the cabin in the woods for the summer. Can you look at RKLB? I don't know what RKLB is. Let me see. RKLB is Rocket Lab. I don't know what they do, but they're not, whatever they're doing, they are very bad at it. I don't know what this company does, but they seem to not know what they're doing. They opened at $9 and by rule, they fell 50% after the IPO. They rallied on the IPO. They doubled in price, and then the market realized that they don't know what they're doing. And this is one of the most ugliest IPO charts I've seen in a long time, because I think this thing is going to go significantly lower. Because if you look at the area of the breakdown, it has become resistance. And now they're sitting at a very critical support along with the MRI support line on a weekly scale. This thing has disaster looking all over it. It's too late to short it, but I wouldn't be surprised if this thing eventually goes down to $2. LAES. Again, IPO that lost 50% of its value. Man, I need to start a hedge fund. And all the hedge fund would do was wait for IPOs to lose 50% and then buy them. This thing opened here. It fell 93%. Shit. That's bad. Another company that doesn't seem to know what they're doing. No, they were just overvalued. At least it's rallying back up. It's on a weekly MRI warning candle. This thing is definitely tapping out. So I wouldn't buy into it now. I don't know what they do either. It's got a daily MRI top inside a weekly MRI top next week. I would take my profit if I had entered, which I probably would not have. Maybe when the moving average is crossed. And I would be looking to take my profit and get out. People are asking about Bitfarms and CleanSpark. Bitfarms is very disappointing. Honestly, I think it's miners aren't being very profitable right now. Bitfarms, very disappointing. CleanSpark, a little bit better. Very disappointed at Bitfarms. Hard to explain what is happening there. They got earnings coming up, so maybe that would help. I don't have an opinion on China, guys. I'm not a China expert. Everyone keeps asking me about China. I don't care about China. I don't think China, it matters as much. I don't know what's happening in China. I don't think anyone knows what's happening in China. Bitcoin still breaking out, looking good. Let's look at a few more tickers. We have Novo Nordisk. Okay. Looks very bullish. But look at that. MRI top preceded by extension B, extension C. I would be taking my profit in this asset. And that's like a weekly MRI top as well, coming up in a couple of weeks. Yeah, I would be taking my profit here. Whatever it is, it's done really well. Is it a hyperwave? Not really. Not really, just a very well-run company. I don't know what they do, but looks very good. I'm still bullish, but I would be taking my profit. This is beautiful. Somebody wants me to look at some shitcoin. We did shitcoin Tuesday on the Financial Summit Network. Is this INJ thing? I think it's done. I think it's over. I think this thing is gonna go down hard. I think it's over. I think the hype's done. The influencers are gonna have used you as liquidity. I think they're gonna move on to another scam. IBM. IBM looks good. I mean, they were on a stupid train for a while, all about the blockchain, buying ridiculous projects like Hyperwave. And I think they stopped with their stupidity of blockchain, blockchain, blockchain. And suddenly the company's making money again. Bird's eye view, I use weekly. Monero is dying. Yeah, it'll keep dying. It's useless. No one needs or wants Monero. I have a whole 3-hour video explaining how Monero is useless. Go watch Monero Crypto Scam episode. Go to the Crypto Scam playlist. Tesla. Tesla is in my stock list. Tesla weekly is not. Yeah, I think it bottomed. Look, it's touching the bottom of the channel. It still has a little more room to the downside. I think Tesla would be a buy on a weekly MRI. So let's stay patient a few more weeks. And picking up Tesla around 170, early March, late February would be great. Okay. Oh, I got to take a look at a couple of stocks for a friend of mine. Did a consulting call reviewing a portfolio of some questionable assets. This is Alibaba. Alibaba looks bad. And I would stay away from Alibaba until it breaks out of this descending channel. But if the stop loss has not yet been hit, probably a decent time to get out of this sinking ship. So I would use this rebound opportunity. This is SK Technology. I had drawn this trend line, and this is the weekly scale. It is on an MRI buy. I would hold on to this asset for a little while. I would set a stop loss right below this moving average. And next week, if the price is trading above current week's high, I would move the stop loss to above the next moving average. And I would just, keep raising the stop loss. If this thing breaks out above this line, I would be more comfortable holding on to this asset and then getting rid of this thing because this company also seems to be a basket case getting rid of it around the MRI resistance line before it gets to $23. Whatever this is, I must have said I would exit this trade at this line being the stop loss. So this asset should have been already exited. Let me look at the daily scale, see if it's more clear. Not really, but right here I would have been out of this mess. The stop loss being in this area on a daily chart doesn't make sense. On a weekly chart, it does. It was set below a moving average. This trade should have exited. Another trade, that's probably another stop loss, another one that should have been exited. Again, most of these things should have been exited on the MRI buy. These are absolute dead cat bounces in some very questionable assets. In case you're wondering where a lot of these stocks are coming from, they are from Catherine Austin Fitts' Solari investment advice portfolio. And there's one piece of advice I can give you guys. Don't ever, for the love of God, invest in stocks from a gloom and doom guru. You are better off investing based on Cramer's advice on stocks than from someone who made their reputation on gloom and doom and the world is going to collapse. They do not have the ability to select individual companies. See, Jim Cramer is bullish on pretty much everything. And Jim Cramer is not wrong, because on a historical basis, the markets are bullish. So on average, Jim Cramer is going to be right more often than he is going to be wrong. But when you go with a gloom and doomer that thinks the stock market is going to collapse, these are your Catherine Austin Fitts, what's his name? Jeff Berwick, Mark Faber, Doug Casey. These guys. Did I lose you guys? No, we're good, right? Yeah. When you go with a gloom and doomer that thinks the world is going to end, they believe that the stock market is going to crash. And yet, at the same time, they're recommending stocks to buy. And the stocks they are going to recommend you buy are going to be stocks that would perform well if the market was to collapse. But the market doesn't collapse. And the stocks they think will do well always do absolutely terribly. So unfortunately, these people are not wrong. They're complete. Catherine Austin Fitts is great. She's absolutely right about the state of the world. But do not follow her trading advice, please, for the love of God. Anyone who's obsessed with gold and silver, don't ever follow their advice on the equity markets. Ever, ever, ever. They will give you the worst possible stocks to buy. I don't know Harry Dent's stock view on the stock market. I know his view on the real estate market, and it's pretty good. But I don't know if he's a gloom and doomer on the stock market. If anyone is a gloom and doomer on the stock market, don't ever follow their stock picks. Let's get back to this. So this company doesn't know what they're doing. And anyone who has ever suggested to buy this company, other than at this point over here, this is the only time someone should ever recommend this company is probably on this candle right here at the top. Yes, right at the top. And then on this candle here, you should get out and never ever buy this company again. And it's still not a buying opportunity to this day. And here there is a stop loss right here. If you are holding this thing, that's the stop loss. And I mean, if it's going up, it's going up. But the moment, and then you just keep raising the stop loss. I mean, there is a chance now that the moving averages have crossed, maybe this thing will finally go to the upside, but it already lost like 70% of its value. So not sure how. I mean, this thing was down 66 and it's still down 60. So, I mean, I don't think it's gonna, I don't think it'll ever go back to 30. And this is also a disaster, though not as bad of a disaster. It has been doing well, but it's been a disaster for the last 3 years. It's finally breaking out. So this is another one where this I'm actually would be bullish on. A beautiful MRI buy here. You can take your profit. You can go back in. I would raise this stop loss to below this candle. That's my stop loss. And I do think this has a shot. This has a shot. This looks good. It made its ultimate low. Look at that green diamond. And this has a chance because it's about to break above. No idea what this is, by the way. It's about to break above prior swing highs. It's on a green star candle. And it's about to go potentially all the way to the MRI resistance line. So this thing's got a shot. So this I wouldn't be too scared of. I'd raise my stop loss to below that swing low and ride the bull wave for as long as it goes. Triple M was an incredible company. And I don't know what the hell they've been doing for the last 10 years, but they have been an absolute disaster. This used to be, I mean, this company goes back a long time. Triple M is one of the most successful companies in the world. Look at this monster breakout back in the 80s. And this was the 2008 crash. And then look at this ultimate top, monthly top back in 2019. But since then, this has looked bad. It kind of rallied. I mean, it's not exactly a hyper wave. It took too long to develop, but it looks like Triple M is in trouble. And this chart looks very bad to me. I don't know how anyone can recommend Triple M, a stock that's been going down. I mean, right here off of the COVID low, made a secondary high. It's even below its COVID lows. I mean, this is bad. It's got plenty of downside. This is a monster company. They just can't innovate anymore. They've innovated so much. Trust me, every one of you has used their products. Look up Triple M, and you'll see how many of their products you've used in your life. But it's in serious trouble here. It's about to hit a red star candle on a weekly scale. I would be out. This again, stop loss right there. No reason to hold this. I would just use ETFs, guys. I would just use ETFs. I mean, if you want an ETF guru that actually knows what he's doing, follow Chris Chiavacco from Chiavacco Capital. Chiavacco. Chris Chiavacco right there. You want an ETF guy to follow? Follow Chris Chiavacco. We got to get him back on Spaces. He's very bullish on the markets too. All right, moderators, what do I have to talk about? Bitcoin halving party. Come join us. in El Salvador. It's on my calendar. I think you mean Gerald Celente. Yes, I would never follow Gerald Celente's stock advice. Again, you're better off following Kramer. At least Kramer is always bullish. And guess what? The stock market is at an all-time high. So Kramer is not wrong. Well, he's wrong a lot, but not on the overall stock market. I think it's absolutely amazing that Tucker is going to interview Putin. I hope he gets to interview Putin, and I really hope he doesn't spend the rest of his life in prison. So Tucker, unfortunately, may want to consider staying in Russia or potentially end up like Julian Assange. You know, there is a danger with interviewing Vladimir Putin. The danger is when you get to America, you get to spend the rest of your life in a cell. Remember, the current political administration has zero regard for the US Constitution or the rule of law. Neither one matter. Neither one matter. That's why I try to stay away from America as much as I can. And I live here in Panama. Joseph Samuel, shout out for your very generous. Oh, whoa, why is my camera moving? For your very generous donation in Indian rupees. I think it's about $10 in dollar terms. The rule of law in the current administration does not matter. It doesn't matter. They will send the FBI to your house. They will throw you in a cell. And, you know, without a trial. The rule of law doesn't matter. Joe Colasari, I will argue with Joe Colasari all day long. The rule of law to the current administration is irrelevant. Here, Martin Armstrong. Yeah, he posted a great statistic yesterday. Martin Armstrong blog. I want to show you guys. Expansion that's made. No. I forget which post it was. It's one of these posts. I thought I saw it yesterday. Nope, not this one. Give me a second. Oh yeah, this one. Look. Here is the incarceration rate. The United States has 1,767,000 people in prison. That is more than China, but China's population is 4 times greater than the United States. So the United States has 4 times more people in prison than China does per capita. Per capita, okay? Now, Russia has about half the population of the United States. US is about 350. Russia is about 170. Right. So Russia has half the population of the United States. So the United States has twice as many people in prison than Russia. Look at Brazil. Look at India. So anyone that tells me that the United States is not the most dangerous country to live in with the highest probability of being in prison, you would be crazy. I mean, I don't know what Mexico's population is. If anyone knows Mexico's population, feel free to mention it. Mexico only has 230,000 people in prison. So again, what is more dangerous to you? For me, the most dangerous thing, I'm not worried about some criminal entering my house, right? I'm more worried about government agents. So for me, the United States is potentially the most dangerous country in the world to sleep at night. That's me. Everyone is different. Oh, I agree. Martin Armstrong doesn't understand Bitcoin at all. And there's no such thing as AI. It's a computer algorithm that a human wrote. Mexico, 126, so it's 1/3, right? So you multiply this number by 3, so Mexico has 1/3 the number of people in prison than the United States does. 1/3. So anyone that says that America is a safe country, you're crazy. Yeah, India, 1.5 billion people. A little more than China. Only 573,000 in prison. Right? Look at Iran. But again, right? Anyone that says that China and Russia will just throw you in prison without charges, yeah, look at America. So I will argue with Joe Calasari all day long on why it's dangerous to live in America. And it's not proportional either, right? If you check like 5 diversity boxes, you're safe, right? If you're transgender and of a certain, skin tone, of certain stuff, you can is different. Though if you're of a certain skin tone, you do have a higher probability of getting arrested, unless you check other boxes. You have to check more than one box for diversity. If you check multiple diversity boxes, you're safe. You can do whatever you like. I'm not sure how I got on that tangent, though. Let's go. Let's take a look. Avdiivka is on the verge of collapse. This is very bad. Very, very bad. So probably by end of this month, I'm anticipating a massive collapse of Avdiivka. So this is going to be under the control of Russia, which is going to be a big problem for Ukraine. Huge problem. All of this I'm expecting to be Russia. And I know it doesn't look like much when you zoom out, but this is super important. Super important. Like this here is irrelevant. This here, where Ukraine's also made progress, over here somewhere, green key area, is also irrelevant. Completely irrelevant. But this is so crucial. This area is so crucial. For multiple reasons. First off, this is Ukraine has the best defensive position here and offensive position. This area is being used to attack the civilian areas of Donetsk that Russia needs to stop. And this is also high ground that Russia would need. Once they take this, once they take it, it is very likely Ukraine is going to fall back all the way to the river. I mean, they're going to defend Kharkov, but in all likelihood, Ukrainian military is going to fall back to the river. This becomes their new defensive position. This is how far they're going to pull back. Once Russia takes this area, man. So don't forget, according to Russia, let's just be clear, right? This is the border of Luhansk. This is the border. Whoa. For info, before use close other drawing. How? How do I close the other drawing? Control Z doesn't work. I don't know how to use this thing. Clear map. Okay. Excellent. So this is Russia, according to Russia. This is also Russia, according to Russia. And by the way, according to Russia is what matters, not according to the US. This is all Russia, according to Russia. So all of this is Russia, according to Russia. That's Donetsk. That's the region of Donetsk. Okay. Now, this is also Russia, according to Russia. And then I'll explain why the only thing that matters is what Russia thinks and not what America thinks. What America thinks matters when you are trying to fight the US government. But where's the border? Where'd the rest of the border go? I mean, that's the border. I guess it's this. But when a country with debatably the second best military in the world and nuclear weapons says this is our territory and they have the means and the power to make it happen, it's their territory, right? Like if you happen to fall into, a gorilla cage at the zoo and the gorilla thinks you're invading the gorilla space, your opinion on whether you're invading the gorilla space is irrelevant to the gorilla. It's the same thing here, only instead of a gorilla, it's a bear, right? If you happen to walk onto, like a bear's cave, where a bear is hibernating for the winter, good luck telling the bear that you have the right to be here, right? Like, it doesn't matter if you were there first, right? If you happen to be sleeping in a cave and the bear walks into the cave because he's planning to use it for hibernation, your opinion that the bear is invading your space is irrelevant. It's the bear's opinion on whether whether the bear is invading your space or you're invading the bear's space. So there's been referendums, and this area is now Russia. This area is now also Russia, right here. Bam, 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 Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so Russia's number one, I mean, they're not going to stop until this region is officially Russia. And if this region is and like only Russians live here, basically, and there's no military action going on in this zone. And if Ukraine continues to bomb these areas, Russia will now need a bigger buffer. Now, I think that when it's all said and done, these two regions, this is Mykolaiv. This will also be Russia. And the reason Mykolaiv is going to be Russia, let me get rid of these things. How do I get rid of them? There. And the reason why I think Mykolaiv is going to be Russia is because Russia believes, with some credibility, that this region, the Odessa region, has historically been Russian land. And they will make sure it becomes Russian land again. So all of this is going to be Russia. And potentially the Kharkiv area as well. These areas will have referendums. The referendums will vote to be Russia. We can debate whether it will be a fair election, not a fair election. I think it'll be a fair election because America will kick out the Ukrainians and the only people voting are going to be Russian. And then, so these are the areas that are going to be Russian. And then these two areas, they're kind of in the middle of nowhere. So they will probably take this area as well. So all of this will be Russia as well, because they need a buffer zone. I've said this many times. All of this is going to be Russia. There is a chance it won't be if United States comes to the negotiating table and offers good terms. And then I think that's where they'll stop. I don't think they want any more land, but they will occupy this area and make it unpleasant for anyone to live there, or they would have to tell all of the, Western Ukrainians to get out and go to the West, and then, let Russians move in here. And the same thing could happen over here. So I wish I can use different colors. But I think worst case scenario for Ukraine is that all of these parts in blue are Russia, and then everything else is Ukraine. And if Ukraine continues to, bomb the people here, then Russia will just keep taking more and more land or make this unlivable. Now, at that point, Poland believes, and Poland doesn't have Russian military, right? Poland believes that this region should be Poland. Like this area. And Poland may or may not take this land. And Slovakia believes that this is their land. Oops. Slovakia believes this is their land. And Hungary believes this is their land. Though I think Hungary thinks they have more land, right? And Romania might get in on this. Maybe. I doubt it, though. And what are you left with, right? Belarus is creating a huge army on the border. Belarus might take this. Belarus might take a little chunk. Russia will take Chernobyl, though. Like Chernobyl is right up here. Chernobyl will go to Russia. And what's going to be left of Ukraine? Not much. Not much. Not much. And by the way, no one is actually interested in stopping this, because if they were interested in stopping it, the United States would go to the negotiating table with Russia and offer them terms to prevent Russia from taking all this land, but they're not going to do it, so Russia's going to take it. I mean, it's not going to be easy for Russia to take this. I mean, it's a massive territory, guys. I mean, this is like the size of like France. This is a massive territory. But if the United States doesn't come to the negotiating table by the election, by Russian election time, I think you can put a fork in Odessa. Odessa is going to Russia. They really want Odessa. They want to make sure Ukraine does not have access to the Black Sea. All right. Guys want to talk Gaza? Jesus. So someone asked about Syria and the pipeline. It's not the pipeline through Syria that they need. Now, they could have done it like on the edges here. Let's switch the maps. Gotta be like a Gaza map, right? Live map Israel. These are pro-Western maps, by the way, guys. Let's go to a Google map. Sometimes Google Maps is just... Let's go to a Google map here. Oh, we gotta do spaces soon. DOJ not charging Biden for classified docs. Of course they're not. I mean, why did they even waste the money filing the case? The DOJ is Biden administration personal Gustavo. Why on earth would they charge them? Look, the pipeline through Syria was not necessary, okay? There's something called the Leviathan gas field. The Leviathan gas field is in this area. We were not going to go down the rabbit hole of the Leviathan gas field. It's called the Leviathan gas field because it's one of the biggest gas fields in the world. Even Wikipedia, the CIA, Leviathan, I don't know how to spell Leviathan. Leviathan gas. Yeah, we can go to the map. This is the Leviathan gas field. Notice something very interesting. What's the best map to use here? The Leviathan gas field was discovered about 15 years ago. Be careful going down this rabbit hole. You might end up with agents at your door. Just saying. There's limited things I can say here. I've gone down the rabbit hole. Carefully. I need a picture. Why the hell would they give you a picture, but not a picture here? Maybe it's here, there. Okay, notice where the Leviathan gas field is. It's under the land of Israel. but it's also out in the Mediterranean. Anything that the yellow line touches has a claim to financially benefit from the Leviathan oil field, gas field, sorry, right here. You can see it right there, okay? Now, where am I going with this? Yeah. After the Leviathan field was discovered, two countries wanted to claim it all for themselves. You want to guess which two countries those were? I'll let you guys guess. Should be easy to guess. So every country that had a claim to the Leviathan gas field had to be forced to give up their royalties from managing and profiting from the gas field. So Greece had to be removed from the equation, and they were in 2015 banking collapse. In order for a Greek bailout, they had to relinquish rights to the Leviathan gas field. Cyprus in the 2013 financial collapse. No, it's US and Israel are the countries. Turkey and Israel. No, it's US and Israel. US and Israel. Cyprus had to be removed from getting any royalty and any profit from the Leviathan gas field, which they were in their financial collapse. Lebanon has been under financial economic pressure, and they had their hyperinflation. Egypt has been completely decimated. I don't know if Egypt has given up their right to the gas claim. They've been trying to overthrow the Turkish government and the Syrian government. So this entire region needed to be completely destabilized in order for only Israel and America to fully control the Leviathan gas field. Now, Gaza is extremely important because there was going to be a pipeline going to compete with the Suez Canal. And the pipeline was going to be from here through here, and it was going to go through the edge of Gaza. And right next to Gaza is some of the greatest gas and oil deposits of the Leviathan gas field. So I'll end it there. Okay. Now, the other pipeline that was going to be very, very interesting, because remember, when the pipeline from Russia was blown up, Europe was going to get all of the gas from other sources. The best source of that gas was going to come from the Leviathan gas field. And they were going to build all these pipelines. And these pipelines were actually going to go through Ukraine. And Ukraine is the most corrupt country in the Northern Hemisphere, if not the world. And that is why, you know, all of these American politicians were involved in the Ukrainian gas companies, okay? From Biden's son to Pelosi's son to whichever, there was 4 of them, right? It was all about the Ukrainian gas companies because the gas was going to go from here after this whole region is destabilized and only Israel and America have access to the Leviathan gas field. This gas was going to move through these countries. Maybe they were going to work out a deal with Turkey, or they were going to bypass Turkey. They now Greece was going to let them do whatever. You know, you move this thing right through here. You know, Bulgaria, Romania, they're all in the pocket of the European Union. The gas has to go through Ukraine because that's where corruption is. So it's Greece also has a lot of corruption, but that's why Greece had to be removed from the equation. Bulgaria, Romania are just lapdogs. They'll do whatever the European Union says. Ukraine was going to be the corrupt region where all the profit was going to be made for the politicians, mostly in the United States. They were going to use Ukraine for their siphoning operation. And then this gas was going to then move through Poland and into Germany. Okay, that was the plan. In addition to, and this plan is completely kind of screwed now with the fact that it's not Israel that's gonna, you know, remove everybody from Gaza and have control of this. It is now more likely that the Arab nations are going to remove every single Zionist and Israeli out of this region, and this Leviathan gas field will be under the control of Syria and Lebanon and Jordan and Egypt and Palestine. So I think in the long run, it'll be Palestine with support of the entire Arab world that will win. And maybe, just maybe, countries like Saudi Arabia and UAE and other nations would actually invest and build out Gaza. Now, that's a long shot. We'll see how it goes. Okay. But I have a very pessimistic view of Israel's future. I think Israel's in serious trouble. Now, the other source of gas for the European Union, like, again, US isn't stupid, right? They needed a backup plan for what if the Leviathan gas field doesn't work? What's the backup plan, or what is the supplement plan? Well, the supplement plan was going to be out of Niger, right? Remember the coup in Niger? Remember Victoria Nuland flying into Niger? Why is Victoria Nuland flying to Niger? Why are the French got kicked out of Niger? Yes, they were getting a lot of their natural elements from Niger for their nuclear reactors, but Niger borders Nigeria. There's also gas and oil deposits here, okay? And there was going to be a pipeline through Nigeria, through Niger. Libya, the United States has already destroyed. By the way, I think Libya also had a claim to the Leviathan gas field. That's now a basket case. There was going to be another pipeline going through these three countries to feed into this pipeline to then add more gas into Europe. And the coup in Niger has completely effed up the plan to supplement this gas with more gas out of this region. Okay, Nigeria will not let them build a pipeline through their country from Nigeria into the Mediterranean. Why is Germany not searching for their own gas? Well, they don't have land that can produce gas, right? They have to buy gas from somewhere else. And now they're buying liquefied natural gas from the United States. So this coup in Niger was super important. And remember, now Russia has a lot of influence here. I mean, Algeria is going to join the BRICS. Mali is being militarily supported by Wagner's and Russia. And Niger could soon be supported by Wagner's and Russia. So this region is very pro Russia, China, and BRICS. So, yeah, the whole Gaza cleansing operation has a lot to do with the Leviathan gas field. They're just in the way of American and Zionist plans. Yeah, Algeria is being very protected by Russia and China. The United States is not able to fuck with Algeria. All right, so there's your geopolitical lesson for the day. I do like this stuff a lot. Thanks, KQH. By the way, you want to know how border dispute starts? Do you want to know how Liberland forms? Let me explain how Liberland forms. Liberland is on the border between Serbia and Croatia. You see all these dotted lines? Dotted lines are border disputes. So some of this land is claimed by both countries, and other land is claimed by neither of the country. Let me give you an example of how this happens. Okay. There's a great example down here in Egypt. Egypt and Sudan. There's Sudan. Here's Egypt. Okay. This is a border dispute. Now, how does this border dispute happen? Well, one country believes that the border is a horizontal line. And the other country believes that the border is this line due to some, historical treaties and historical maps. Okay. Now, let me explain why they can't resolve this problem. They can't resolve this problem is because both countries want this chunk of land. This is prime real estate. It sits on the Red Sea. It has a road. It's got hotels. It's got economic activity. This chunk of land is useful. This chunk of land is a useless desert. Okay, we can go to a satellite map. Right here. This chunk of land has nothing right here. Has absolutely nothing. This chunk of land has something. It's not a lot something, but it has something, right? So this is the good land. Can build a port. It already has roads. This land is something, that land is nothing. Now, I've been to this area, by the way. Let's go back here. So both countries want this land. That means neither country wants this land. So if, say, Egypt started to build something on this chunk, then Egypt claims this land for themselves. And if they claim this chunk of land, then Sudan, it obviously gets to keep this part. Now, the opposite is also true. If Sudan claims this land for themselves, then they're admitting that the border is horizontal. And then Egypt gets to keep this land. And that's why this is a border dispute. So the same thing is happening, and how a bunch of libertarians show up at a region like this because this is unclaimed land. Both countries are claiming this is theirs, and both countries are claiming this is not theirs. But just because it's not theirs, good luck trying to come here and form a country, because neither one of these things is going to be happy, right? Because the moment one of these countries is able to claim this land for themselves, then they're giving up this land to their counterpart. But if some libertarian shows up, plants a Liberland flag here, and claims this land as its own independent country, that makes this border dispute a lot trickier, because whoever wins this border dispute at least has, a consolation prize to give away. And that's why both countries get pissed when the Liberland people show up on one of those islands between Croatia and Serbia. Over here. right? And there's a bunch of them, right? Like Liberland is like one of these things. Like one of these things is like, I think like maybe this one. Like one of these things is Liberland. I have no idea which one. Like I've never been there. But one of these things is Liberland. But all these border disputes, because at one point the river looked like this, and now the river looks like this. So one country is claiming we need to go by where the river was when our countries separated, and the other one goes, no, the new river is always going to be the border. And it's a border dispute the two countries can't resolve. Also, one country is in the European Union, and one country America can't stand. Though, like Europe, like the West, the liberal democracy that always starts wars hates Serbia. They love Croatia. Croatia is in the European Union. Serbia is not. Or Eurozone. They're not in the Eurozone. They're not in the European Union. Okay, and this is why George Soros and the cabal is starting a military conflict between Kosovo and Serbia. So this is disputed land. Kosovo is not really a country, but the United States recognizes it as a country because they want to steal as much Serbian land as possible because they hate Serbia. And after, if they're able to create a country out of Kosovo, trust me, they're going to try and grab another, like they want to destroy Serbia. Serbia doesn't play ball. At least Hungary kind of plays ball sometimes. They bribed Hungary, they forced Hungary to give the money to Ukraine. But Serbia is not in the European Union. Serbia is very independent. So what happens if Liberland is established already? Can they just be evicted? Well, it's not recognized as a country yet, right? So they would actually need both of these countries to agree. And neither one of them wants to agree, right? Because Liberland is like on one of these little islands that neither country wants, because if either of these countries claim that area as their country, they're giving up the other half. Like, I forget who's on which side here, right? But you see the border. This is why it's two zigzag lines. One is the current river, where one country says the border is the current river, and the other country says the border is the river, and the way it was, 30 years ago or something, or 100 years ago. Like, I have no idea. Okay. Brits are just idiots. Brits have no army. They have no army whatsoever. Honestly, I think the Brits just do what the US tells them to do. And the US probably told them, hey, you got 30,000 troops. Let's send them all to Ukraine. Let's make sure Russia kills them all. And then we'll make Russia look bad on the global stage. Good luck, the UK. Good luck. Yeah, pretty, Chris, yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's a neat idea. But yeah, look, you can show up and you can try to claim one of these islands, just like Liberland did. But neither country is going to be happy about it. Because they're still in the middle of their border dispute. I would love to go to Croatia. So I really want to go to Croatia, Hungary, and Serbia. Croatia, Hungary, and Serbia are on my next I want to visit travel list. Of the three countries I've never been to that I really want to go to. So my prior list was like Brazil, Portugal, Japan. I've been to them. And right now, what I have on my list is Croatia, Hungary, Serbia, and also Peru. 1 second. Why are you postponing the Twitter space? One second, guys. All right. I hope the interview is today. I want to watch it immediately because I think they're going to censor the shit out of it, right? One second. Okay. Bitcoin mining stocks after the halving might fall, but we'll see. Let's get closer to the halving. All right, guys, I'm gonna go. We're gonna sneak peek at the Bitcoin price one more time. And nothing changes from what I said earlier. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about, where I want to go. So I really want to go to those 3 countries. And I also really want to go to Peru because I've never been. I want to go to see Machu Picchu. And I've never been to Cambodia, so I've never been to Angkor Wat. So I also want to go to Cambodia to go to Angkor Wat. So that's on my bucket list for later this year or next year. Tone, what do you think of the argument that some people make that the largest companies are propping up because of index ETFs and mutual funds? That's fine. Like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how money enters the stocks of companies, whether it's direct investment or through mutual funds or through ETFs. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All right, guys, I'm gonna get going. I will see you all on the next one. Please follow us at the Financial Summit YouTube channel, where we will do a video hopefully tomorrow morning if Matt is back to the countryside. Maybe I'll do it by myself. We'll see. Bye, guys.